Hey, Arcturus here. Today, we're looking at the Ocean House from LEGO. This set is part of the Bricklink Designer Program Series 2. It has a set number of 910036 and comes with 2,207 pieces, as well as 3 minifigures and 1 very minifigure, several birds, and a nice ocean house build. I will have a video on the Bricklink Designer Program Series 4 coming out on the 3rd of February 2025. That's the day before orders for Series 4 go live. So let's take a look at this build. This set was designed by Harry Finkel, and as part of the Bricklink Designer Program, does not come with printed instructions. It does come with a small sheet, single pages, with a small little section on the designer, a picture of the set, and on the back is a QR code for the instructions. I quite like the set. It is nice and bright. There were a few problems in the instructions, which I think is inevitable when they only produce 30,000 of these sets at most. So I think that is definitely something to be aware of, that it does take a little bit more attention to the instructions than a normal Lego set might have. You do build a very nice little nature area that the house is kind of situated on, and the house is also situated on these nice piers with a blue tile to kind of mark where the water line should be most of the time. At least that's my impression of it. You also get a small little rowboat with a rucksack and a telescope and a lantern there on the back and some streamers there, as well as a cart, which I was using to store a hairpiece, but also has some fish and a crab in it as well. The fish pieces are pretty typical, but I have not seen this crab piece. Actually, I take that back. I may have seen this crab piece in the Triwizard Tournament set from LEGO Harry Potter, and the fish are the typical fish. So one thing I like about this set is the sheer amount of color in it. It's a very bright and vibrant set. And before we continue, don't forget to like and subscribe. So you get this nice ramp going up, as this is, I guess, is supposed to be land here. I think the ramp might do better if it was angled more this way, but it would also extend the footprint a bit. It may not work as well. You do get a very nice pink and white tree with a nice butterfly piece on it that can kind of rotate to shade this bird nest here, of which it does have some birds nesting in it, and you also have some birds scattered on top of the set as well. So here is the other side. One thing I don't like is this section's a little narrow. You can't really get a minifigure through this grating here. I think it might have been better if we had some more banisters and this was maybe coming out of the back of the set, but I think overall it's quite nice. These tiles were a little annoying to put together, but went together quite nicely, and you do get this nice blue motif on the side of the window that you also get on the front of the house. You do get a nice interior here with some slight repairs there on the roof and a nice veranda area or pier area here with some vines and a little fishing trawler thing here, or a cargo lifter. I'm not quite sure which. You have some vines coming out down the bottom as well, or seaweed sort of thing. Some hooks to moor boats to, and some rucksacks and fish drying here on the side. And you can see, how you step into the house or out of the house. I think it is designed only to really be looked at from the front, although you can look at the interior from the back. The vines look much better from this side there in the corner. See if I can't lift this up a little bit. See, a little bit easier. They look a lot better from this side than they do from around the back. And this just kind of braces here against this pillar to hold it up, but you do get some nice greenery coming off the top there, like some of those hanging potted plants some people have in their houses. You do get a nice bit of blue there across the top, which I think really helps pull all of it together with the blue on the bottom and then the blue on the top. I think that's quite nice. And I like the greenery coming out of the top as well. One thing I don't quite like, I see what it's going for, but I don't really like how these corner pieces are. Um, they're supposed to be giving it that sort of triangular corner shape you see on some houses, and I just don't think it comes across well in the Lego here. I think it looks okay, especially from the front, but the ones in the back are still viewable, and that kind of interrupts the niceness of the front. One thing with having these nice green pieces is it does make it difficult to access the interior because they pop off pretty easily. It is designed like the modular building where the roof can come off. I do find it a little difficult to grab it in sections simply because of how everything on the roof is attached. It's a little easy to pop these roof tiles off because the center is mostly hollow, which I think is perfectly fine for saving on piece count and still gives a very nice appearance. But since this is mostly hollow and this piece is not attached very well, you can't just pull from this because it will detach very easily. So it is a little difficult to access the interior without knocking off all the greenery on top of the roof. Unless maybe I'm going about accessing it incorrectly. So let's take a look at the interior, because you do get a nice little interior for it. You get a nice butterfly net, of which you get at least one butterfly in the set, and a broom for cleaning up in the house. And they're just set here in this bucket. You get a nice little kitchen stove area with a fish being cooked on it. There's also a pan in the dishwashing section there. Some nice window pieces with the kind of vine-like display for filling in some of that window there rather than it just being open, which I think is a very nice touch. You do have one nice open one here on this side, but the others are more enclosed and very nice looking. You do get this nice tiled off kind of section to separate the table from the rest of the room, which I think works very well. You get some lamps, a chest, or I'm sorry, a dresser, cabinet section here, and some rucksacks hanging from the window, and a chest here. This was a very nice looking chest. I don't recall seeing this style of chest before in a Lego set. It does have two studs on top and stores a few like paintbrushes and wand pieces in there as like toys for the minifigure. You do also get one of these little toy-like pieces here as well. The interior is very nice. I think it works quite well. I like the blue. You also get a few clam pieces in the set. I forgot to point that out earlier. So we'll keep looking at this with the roof off for right now. And so with this window does not have the interior pieces, but it does have some nice extra framing around it, which I think works quite well. You do get three minifigures in this set, I will say. I don't count the baby Lego figure as a minifigure, but we'll pop those off real quick. And we'll put the roof back on. So we have the nice house in the background. And we can look at some of the minifigures. So here we have one who is supposed to be a child based off the legs, wearing a straw hat, which I think works quite well. And is just a pretty simple minifigure, but works nicely for the set for a family, taking a vacation to the ocean house. I think you have a little more detailed figure here in the adult with the two-tone legs, so he's like wearing boots or something. He's got a satchel bag there and a hairpiece and no two-sided face printing. But quite nice little figures there. And then you have the third figure with a little less detail, but a different torso and different hairpiece there as well. And then you have one I have not seen before, which is a baby minifigure. Very simple. Very surprising. It just sits on one stud there on the bottom with a very tiny Lego head, which very much surprised me in the set. Overall, I quite like this set. It's very nice and vibrant as opposed to some of the grayer sets I've done or the gray plastic of miniatures. So it's quite nice in that regard. It does have some nice detailing and has some very nice detailing and again, color. Just the nice vibrancy of the set is really great. And you can see there's a crab sticking around underneath here and some netting style rope here as well. Yeah, overall, it was a very nice set. It was part of the Bricklink designer program, of which for each of the sets that make it to the actual series, they only produce up to 30,000 of them. So I don't know how easy it will be if you are interested in getting the set to pick it up at a later date. It does take them a few months to get them out. So I wouldn't shoot from ordering. I'm still waiting on a Series 3 set. The same designer, I believe, has another set in Series 4. That's all I have for today. I'll catch you next week with another video.